I think it is good for the soul when you see that you've made a difference to someone else's life. It is a good feeling, and I think sometimes we forget that. I've been a community first responder for 7 years now. I went to a recruitment workshop and realised that was something I'd like to find out a bit more of. I then went on to the meetings and met the teams, and then I decided that was something I wanted to do. So we're quite remote here, and I feel it's a good opportunity for us to be able to give the care to people before the ambulance gets there. I mean, that is as simple as that. I just think it's a needed resource.
Well, just a nice sunny Easter Sunday, and I'd been working in the garden prior to us going up to the pub for a nice Sunday lunch. And then just coming towards the end of my lunch, I said to my husband, I don't feel all that good, could you get me a glass of water? And I don't really remember very much after that, except I was lying full on the floor, and this very nice gentleman was telling me that I was all right. And that I later learned that that was Lance, the volunteer responder in our area.
It did come in as a category 1. I thought I was going to an arrest in a local pub. I knew that was likely to be quite a stressful environment. She was unconscious. She did have some breathing, but it was quite shallow. She was unresponsive. So to be able to help in a small way before the ambulance could get there to help her and her family and the other people in the pub who'd witnessed it, which is not something that really you need to see, was very rewarding for me.
Generally felt quite safe because the people around me was telling me that I was all right. And I do remember when the ambulance crew came in that Lance was passing over to them and telling them sort of various things, but I felt safe with the people around me. I wasn't panicked in any way. The young girl that was in the ambulance, I don't remember how the conversation came up, but she just said, oh yes, Lance is the volunteer in the area and we see quite a lot of him and he comes out quite regularly to us. And being a volunteer myself, I was quite interested, you know, that somebody did that kind of work. I mean, much more noble than what I do, because obviously, you know, you've got to be qualified to do that sort of thing. So it sort of stayed with me a little bit that it was a volunteer that had helped.
So it was lovely to see her looking so well under better circumstances than when we first met. It's always nice to see someone who has made a recovery, even because quite often we don't get to know anything about any of our patients or clients. We go along, we do our job, we hand them over, and we don't hear any more about it. And I don't mind that, that's okay, because you can't take all of this with you all the time. But it is nice on occasions like this when you do find out they've had a great recovery, and that is good.
Well, I'm quite impressed the fact that people have got that kind of qualification and that ability that they do it on a voluntary basis. And it was an Easter Sunday, it was a holiday weekend, 4 o'clock on a nice sunny afternoon, that people will actually turn out voluntary and do that. Most people do very important jobs and get very highly paid for them. But the fact that people are prepared to do that on a voluntary basis, I think it has to be recognised.
I think our trust is quite progressive. I think we have a bigger scope of practice than some of the other trusts. We do quite a range of calls to patients. from some hand holding and some, some non-injury falls right up to the most serious. All of those are valuable and they're all good as a volunteer. I think in the future, volunteers will have to play a bigger part of localised healthcare, particularly immediate intervention, which will help save lives. I think the benefit I see as a CFR is the speed of which we can get to a patient, and that does make a difference.